What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and TV. Today, on a new episode of Fresh Cuts, we are talking about the Love It or Hate It 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Joining me, as always, is the wonderful DNA Gaming, consisting of Dan and Angela. If there's a day you don't do that, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
I have to.
It's your trademark now. It's your trademark entrance and exit.
Started doing it. I just I have to continue.
Yeah, you gotta keep doing it.
That in Jurassic Park 3, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we always gotta tell people that. But today we're talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, released on Netflix last Friday. What was it? What's the date? February 18th, 2022. This thing was a nice, crispy 81 minutes. Nice and short.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Because you know that if this movie was any longer, it would have just been even worse on the internet. It just been completely.
Yes.
Wasn't the other one 81 minutes?
What?
Wasn't the other type, the OG?
The original? I don't remember how long the original was.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get to that, too, because I want to talk to you guys about what your thoughts on the original, because this is technically a direct sequel to the 74 film. It literally takes everything else that happened before and eliminates it. So you go 1974 to 2022.
Oh, it also eliminates stuff. It also eliminates some stuff from the film that's a sequel from too.
So what happens when you know, you'd think you'd have almost 50 years to figure it out.
Right.
But no. This was directed by David Blue Garcia. This is only his second film. He did a little indie film in 2018, and it was written, I don't know to what degree, but it was written by Fede Alvarez, who is the director of the Evil Dead remake, the Don't Breathe 1 and 2. And what did I just see that he also directed that I was like, oh, I didn't know that. The Girl in the Spiderweb, which is a Girl with the Dragon Tattoo sequel.
Yeah.
I enjoy all of his films, and the fact that he supposedly wrote this, it was kind of one of those things like, to what degree? Because
he started with the, and then somebody took it over from there.
They're like, fuck the get the out of here.
She's like, fine, you write the rest of it, and he still got a writing credit for it.
So before we get into anything, we're going to do this a little bit different. I'm not going to go break down the plot. I don't have notes or anything. We're just going to talk about the good, the bads, and just you can read your notes.
I thought that's how these are supposed to be.
I didn't say. I just said I'm not reading. I don't have any notes. You can read your notes.
But I thought we're just supposed to wing it anyway. Like every time we've done one of these fresh cuts, I just want to throw it out. It's supposed to be like we're just supposed to talk about the good and bad, but we still go over the whole fucking plot.
Oh, always. It's just how it goes. It's just how it goes.
It's fine with it. I'm just like, all right, whatever.
Oh God, it's so funny. So yeah, we're gonna go around. We're gonna talk about what we thought of the movie, kind of just as a spoiler-free. The beginning of this will be spoiler-free for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, and then we'll get into spoilers, because that's how this show works. And this movie's been out for like a week and a half, and the internet is literally blowing up about it. So
yeah,
we'll start off with Dan this time, since Angela, she got all upset last time because she had to go first. So Dan,
I'm always first.
Lead us off. What did you think?
I'm going to preface this first so everybody knows where I stand. Yeah. I know this is just a sequel to the original, but the only Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies I've seen is the original, very recently, the 2013 remake, which I remember liking, but it's been a long time since I've watched it, and this movie. That being said, all in all, this is a very meh kind of horror movie for me. I thought some of the kills were really good. There's a lot of continuity issues with this, even being based on just the first film, in my opinion. I don't know how much I want to say. I'll say because I could go, but I'll wait. I won't say anymore. I'll just say I have a lot of issues with this movie. that way drags it down from what I just said. Like if there's like any other horror movie, like this is okay, but I have a lot of issues with it outside of that.
All right, Angela.
I kind of feel the same way, but I've only ever seen the original and this one, so
That's all you need to see,
going
apparently.
well going off of that. But like Dan said, there's some kills that are really awesome. There's some. I hate when movies get political,
Oh
and I
yeah.
kind of feel like they drug that into it,
Yep.
not needing to be there.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it was okay.
Oh wow! I thought this was going to be way worse from you guys.
Oh, no.
I was ready for the flames. I was ready for the fucking torches.
Well, this is the spoiler-free section. Believe me, I got a lot of stuff
you can
to bitch
say
about
that you didn't like it. I mean, that's not spoiling anything. It's kind of how the internet's been going right now.
Okay, well, I'll revise my statement because as a horror movie, it's very meh. But as my knowledge of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like comparing with like what I know from the movies I've watched, I don't like this movie.
Okay.
As a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, I don't like it. Sorry.
So this is like I think I've seen most of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies throughout the years because I was obsessed with horror when I was a kid. So used to rent, any horror movie that I hadn't seen, I was renting it. So I probably have seen all of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. I don't remember them all. I do remember the original because it's another movie that is very short, very to the point. There's not a lot going on in it, but it's just so well made, especially if you've ever watched or listened to the making of that movie. It's insane. Absolutely insane. I would love to talk about the original at some point. We'll talk a little bit about the original in this show, but we'll go into more in depth when we actually cover that movie. But the fact that we're getting a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel to the original almost 50 years later, it's just like, why? They literally, the screenwriters literally went, yo, did you see what Halloween's doing? See what Halloween did? That was pretty good. Let's try that with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it's just like, do we have to? do
That's a great question. Do we have to?
But this is what I'm going to say about this movie is Leatherface is the best part of this movie, and which is a good thing because he's kind of the focal point of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a whole. He's the person behind the title of this movie, and he's the best part of it. He's huge. He's menacing. The only thing that I have to say negative about Leatherface in this movie is the mask is one of the worst masks in the franchise. And literally there's a mask he wears in the Next Generation, which is legit like he ripped off a full-size Barbie's face and wore it with a wig.
Yeah.
So, and that one was better than this one. This one was weird as fuck, man. He looked derpy. Like the scene where he pokes his head above the fucking weeds. Dude, it's just like, hello?
What's going on over here?
I want to play. God. Other than that, he was very menacing. Just his stature was great. But here's the thing about fucking modern day horror movies and most horror movies in general is the goddamn just supporting cast is just a bunch of trash. It's just no, but you don't care about anybody in this movie.
Most of them suck.
I am going to defend the person who has been getting the most hate of anybody in this movie. Okay. I liked Melody. I did.
Which one's?
She's the sister. She's the main. A lot of people are giving her hate because of the fact that she goes from being like a complete bitch to then like caring about that woman. And then it's like she kind of like turns. I was like, okay, what's the big deal about that? Then you got characters like Dante. He sucks.
Yep.
Leela, she fucking sucks, to be honest. I didn't like what they did with that character. I don't know, man. They tried to interweave certain things into her character, like she was a she was a mass shooter survivor.
Yep.
She was a school shooter survivor, which is fine, but it kind of goes to the wayside for a while until the end, and then you're like, oh yeah, that there was that thing that happened to her, because you forgot, because nothing happens to her for like most of the movie. Like you get the imagery because they do like a flashback, and then you see it later, and like at that point I forgot. I was like, oh,
yep,
that's right.
I
didn't hate this movie though. I thought it was fine. I'd probably watch it again, not anytime soon, but I would, if I was bored and wanted to put something on, it's a fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Like, this is literally a dude running around with a chainsaw just murking everybody, and the kills were cool.
The kills were good.
Yes, the kills were cool. And when you're watching a slasher, what more do you want?
I don't know, man.
What more do you want? Like, people are expecting like this like in-depth story, and like, oh my god, like like Sally. Why was she in this movie? She was absolutely pointless. Just why? I was sad that originally the original actress who played her, Meredith Burns, she was supposed to come back and play her, but she passed away, unfortunately, before they started filming this. So they got Olwen Foueri.
Never heard. You say it, that's why I
said. She came in, and to be honest, I completely forgot that Meredith Burns died, and I was like, is that the original? And I'm like telling my wife, like, isn't that cool? Like, that's the original woman. And then I found out it wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. That's what I thought too, because she looked pretty
Victor's like, oh, they got the original person back, and I was looking it up. I'm like, she's from Ireland, and then I was like looking through all her stuff. I'm like, no, not the same person.
Yeah. I think when Marilyn Burns passed away, I think they should have just eliminated Sally in this story, because she was pointless. She was literally They made her Laurie Strode in 2018 Halloween, but then, spoiler alert, everybody, spoiler, she fucking dies.
I called it, dude.
Very fucking quickly too.
Dude. Okay. See, I don't want to say, I know you just did the spoiler thing, but like, I don't want to say much, because like, that's the core of my argument, are spoilers with this film. Like,
well, listen, everybody, we're spoiling the shit out of this thing. So if you haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, go watch it before you watch this, because listen, as much as we're going to say it's a lot of negative things about this movie, I am telling people they need to experience it. It's only 81 minutes. That's an hour and 21 minutes. That is not much. That's literally that's less than some animated films. Go watch it. It's on Netflix. You got Netflix. Go watch it. Come back, watch our reviews. Okay?
All right.
All right. Spoilers. Go.
super big. Okay. While you said your favorite part of this movie was Leatherface, he's actually a part of this movie I fucking hated. And the reason I didn't like him is because this being a direct sequel to the original, and this one could be for the whole film as a whole, all this movie is a really shitty version of Halloween 2018. And the reason I say that is because Leatherface in the original movie was a mentally challenged, handicapped, developmentally challenged, whatever version, whatever issue we had, man-child that was abused and controlled by his family. And in this, he is a stereotypical Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, super stupid, strong, indestructible killer. He loses all of his identity. Because, like, in the first movie, he gets hurt, he cuts his leg with the chainsaw, he kind of freaks out about it a little bit. He acts like a normal human being. He's just the stereotypical, unstoppable.
And that's the reason why he does the thing. Like, when she escapes at the end of the original, that's why he does his little twirly thing, because he's pissed, and it's him trying to comprehend what the fuck is going on.
Well, remember in the first movie when the one dude comes in, I think it's when the guy comes in first when he opens the door, and in the original hits him with the mallet. Yeah, and then the girl comes in, and he kind of like runs by the window and starts freaking out because his brother and his dad aren't home. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to deal with this. The only two times you get anything remotely close to that is when his mom character is dying and he's kind of freaking out, and then the part with the dress, and that's it. Other than that, he is generic, bland, dumb fuck, giant. Like, outside, he does have a few moments of being smart, but he lost almost every bit of character he had as a slasher in this movie, to me. Like, he's not unique anymore. He's just I can get shot by 50 million rounds of buckshot, and I don't have to worry about organ failure or bleeding out. Nope, I'm totally fine.
Especially when this man's supposed to be in his fucking 70s.
Exactly. That's another, like, it's different if it's Michael Myers. Because Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees are like undead, like, especially later for Michael, like kind of undead, super strong. That's how their characters are. That's not how Leatherface is in the original.
They started out that way, though. And
Yeah,
not, like,
that is my biggest complaint. And also, all the characters in this movie fucking suck.
except for Richter.
They're all, I don't like
Richter kind of sucks too.
He does.
He's probably one of the best characters, though.
He's the character I like
because he's the better of them all.
He's a good old boy dude, but even then, he's treated very stereotypically. Because again, horror movies, stereotypes, whatever. Like the yuppies fucking suck. They treat the natives like hillbilly dumb fuck weirdos, and like I don't like how any of the characters are portrayed in this. Like it's all overly political, or I guess woke is like the term people use for it. It's overly political or social commentary, but like it just jams it down your throat in the beginning. Melody's a fucking pain in the ass when she's giving a dude shit for having a gun and shitting on the dude. Literally pulls up in his truck to fill up his gas tank, and they have to be fucking, we're in a Tesla, and what's comment on the size of his penis for having a large truck and a fucking weapons
that whole beginning part was like, why? Who writes this bullshit? That's such a stupid thing to write. Nobody is doing that.
Dude, I know. I agree. People don't normally do this. And like they're trying to paint like no side looks good in this. And like I get the school shooting angle. I don't even understand the importance of that in the film outside of the few scenes where she has the flashbacks to it and then like picks up the gun.
It's a whole thing where she's a school shooting survivor. So and it's supposed to come back because at the end she's able, she picks the gun up, she can't shoot it because she's scared, she's having the flashback, and then at the end it's Sally who's like, don't run because he'll haunt you forever. And so that's when she gets the courage to overcome her survivor guilt or whatever to then shoot the gun. I get that, but it's the other political bullshit that is just like, I get certain aspects, but why do we have to pay attention to this for 10 minutes? Why is this? That's 10 minutes out of an 81-minute movie about the Confederate flag. Why is that even in this movie?
Who cares? Who cares?
See, that was the part that really, and it happens, early in the movie. That was the part that really got me, because you're coming in to this town that has been secluded from the rest of society. Mm-hmm. She's lived here and done this for 50 years. She even says she's taken care of him for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
They don't have TVs. They don't have phones.
They probably do have phones. Well, they have phones.
I mean,
but it's a small rural town.
But simple house phone. Like, they don't have social media. So when she calls him a Negro and he gets all offended, he's got to look at it from her side. She has...
That's how she's probably always heard it described.
This is how she's lived. They've not evolved because they are still secluded from society. Right. So that's what irks me so much about you can't use that word anymore. It's all about him being black.
Well, another thing is I'm not from this part of the country because we all live in the South now. When I came down here, that was a culture shock for me too, because I work with a lot of people, and you got to understand that some people were just raised that way. And it's not that they're necessarily bad people, like she says in the movie. She's got nothing against them, but if that's how she's always heard them called, that's how she's going to address it, whether she means it negatively or not. How she talks about the flag reminds her of her great grandfather or whatever. That's probably all she meant by it.
Right. It was more of it wasn't a fact of like, the thing
do it to offend.
Right. It was more of just it was an heirloom. It was something that reminded her of a past family member. It wasn't like, listen, if you come here, we hate all colored people type deal.
Well, see, this also got talked about lately in some other people, because that was my thought coming down here. I'm like, Confederate flag, that's really fucking stupid. Because again, from further north, so I was like, why do we have that? It's a relic of a bygone nation. It doesn't exist, whatever. But to a lot of people, it's not about that at all. It's not about the Confederacy. There's people that this Confederate flag is a symbol of Southern pride. It's got nothing. I'm talking about people of every background and color consider that a thing of Southern pride. It's not just, and I'm not like advocating toward any side of that. I'm just telling you that's how some people feel.
We're not going to get super political about this because I don't want people coming out and be like, "Oh, you're fucking, this and that."
Yeah, I know.
We're not. We're just talking about this movie and what like the things that were unnecessary for this movie. Listen, I love movies. I enjoy movies that have that social commentary. Candyman, the original Candyman and the newest Candyman has a lot of social commentary. But it makes fucking sense to the movie. It all makes sense to the story that they're trying to tell. Those things in this movie just don't need to be there. It does not need to be. Just if you eliminate that part, maybe her calling him what she calls him. Yeah. That's that. I feel like okay, that's fine because then it gets him all uppity because he's like, oh, he's living in a different world, whatever. But it's just, I don't know, man. This movie, I enjoyed this movie because to be honest, I rooted for Leatherface the whole fucking time. I was like, I can't wait for him to just kill everyone here because they're all fucking terrible fucking people. As much as I was defending Melody because I think her reactions and the way that she kind of turns, it's realistic compared to a lot of these other fucking characters. A lot of people are tearing her apart. And I'm like, to be honest, man, I feel there are a lot of people who are like that. Like, her and this Dante guy are trying to, they bought this town, which another fucking thing. I'm like, what the fuck is this plot? They bought a town?
Apparently.
What? Okay. So they buy this town. And they're like famous cooks or famous chefs or something.
Yeah, like I guess YouTube internet chefs or something like social. Yeah, I guess.
So in the beginning, she's, very uppity, and she has her stupid dick comment at the gas station, which was dumb. Another thing that didn't need to be here, but it has to tie into her seeing that guy again, Richter.
Yeah.
And which I did not know his name the entire movie. I didn't hear his name. I managed to just kind of blanked it out. I didn't know what to say.
Well, I just knew it from when Dante introduces him.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because he comes out of the garage. He's like, what's he doing here? Like, well, does he not have a right to be somewhere?
Well, he's the contractor for the whole.
And the old lady, I liked the character. I liked the way that she's an old lady. She's not used to the situation that's going on here.
Yep.
And she's reacting in a way that I feel someone in that state would react. Like, what the fuck are you doing in my house?
I didn't have a problem with her. Yeah, why did you just walk in? Like, what gives you a right just to walk into any place?
And like, he was so adamant that Dante was so adamant that they owned her house, and she's like, no, this is my house.
Yeah, she got that cleared up at the bank.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, we own it all.
That was a plot point I was fine with. Like the whole misunderstanding about, like, I was fine with all of that.
But not bringing,
It was just an excuse. I was like, it's like, let's make this socially politically relevant or socially relevant. This will be fucking great. Like, guys, just chill, but step back, guys. Come on.
When you said that when you moved down here, you've still got people. The town that we live in and surrounding towns are older people. They don't have social media.
Right.
There's plenty of people around here that don't even know what an email address is. So,
I don't know. I can't like they have this character Dante, which I felt they could have wrote such a better like arc for him or a better character. It's just a piece of shit.
He's an asshole.
He's legit a piece of shit. There is nothing when he fucking goes. I was like, thank God. Fucking thank God. This guy sucks. He just sucks.
I thought he got hit in the neck. And then like you find out like it's his face. He took like a cleaver to the face, which is awesome.
Yeah, one of those moments where it all happened and he falls and I'm like, okay, he's dead. And I was like, and then he fucking gets up and I'm like, how the fuck is he getting up?
That's what we said.
Because he's like bleeding out and like kind of like
When
spasming.
he gets up, there's like no blood. Like
Yeah.
Well, there's a little bit when he was getting up. You can see it kind of.
But yeah, but like where
Yeah,
did
there
it
was
all
no
go?
there was like no pool under him. So
can I mention that scene though? Because we're talking about it real quick.
yeah,
like
yeah.
where he's getting killed, where it's just the door swinging open and closed.
Yes, it's a
And
cool
that was
kill.
cool. That was a
Very
cool
kill.
scene. I was like, okay. Like I said, I like the kills in this movie. Well, most of them. There's one specific scene I fucking hated, but we'll get into that later.
Try something and you're canceled. Who the fucking
God! It's so stupid. That was the dumbest part of this movie. I hated a lot of things in the movie. That part, I was like,
I saw that shit in the trailer and I was like, okay.
I
We're
never
doing
watched
this,
the
bro.
trailer. Yeah,
We're doing
exactly.
this. Holy fuck. So the old lady, she is played by an actress named Alice Cridge, and she played
Okay.
Quinn's mom at the beginning of Reign of Fire.
That's the connection.
Yeah.
I thought
That's
it was
cool.
familiar.
She's a lot
This
older.
lady,
That's why I did
but I
not
didn't-
recognize her at all. Or she
I did.
or
That
she
was
wore a lot of
one
makeup.
person. I didn't go in and look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she looked rough in that movie. I thought she did a good job as like the old lady.
Can we talk about the beginning of this movie where they're at the gas station and there's like things commemorating the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? There's like little,
Yeah.
like the well, yeah, of course, one of the things comes back to in play later on.
I
in the
knew that.
movie.
I was like, this is going to be relevant later.
But the guy who works at the gas station, as little as this dude was in the movie, the way that he acts and reacts to things, I was like, bravo. Like when somebody calls in to like over the CB.
It's when they're in the
The
Is it-
van. Right? When they
Is it the
wrecked.
one where in Sally's car? And they're calling? or is
yeah.
there
Are they
somebody-
in the
somebody's
front
calling?
of Sally's?
Somebody calls
Yeah.
into a CB and says it's a guy wearing, like he's wearing skin on, or he's like wearing a mask.
It's
Oh.
early
Or something like
after
that.
Yeah.
after Dante's fiance dies. She starts talking
Yes.
into the police radio.
Yes. Oh, because she's whispering. She's like,
Yeah.
he's peeling her face. And
Yeah,
and the
that's after
dude
they
is
wreck.
standing in the doorway because he's about to walk out. And he's hearing the whole thing, and he's just like, fuck, it's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that
yeah.
little bit of a reaction, and the little bit you see this guy, I'm like, bravo.
I enjoyed that whole little scene of them in the van,
So
the ambulance.
yes, that was good.
That was good tension.
That was
The scene when they were in the ambulance was good. Again, I'm going to go back to what I bitched about earlier. He's still a normal dude. Never
Yeah.
once in the original movie is he portrayed, and he just busts that dude's arm. It's like, oh look, twigs, pretzels,
But-
breaks his
Oh,
arm.
he
It's a
didn't
cool
just
kill.
he didn't just bust his arm, and then he
No,
used that
no.
bone to. Well, that's one of the best fucking kills in the movie, to be honest.
It's
Like
really
he
good.
snaps that dude's arm, the fucking bone in the neck. I was like, what the?
And
it
this whole
wasn't
thing.
just once. It was like two
Oh,
or
he
three
just-
times. He just like
Yep. Then like, dude, he's just Michael Myers at this point. Like
Pretty
he's
much.
like his idea. Like that's what I said. I was like, dude, what the fuck, dude? Like it's a cool kill, but like as the character, it makes no sense.
I
whatsoever.
almost feel like it was rage though because she but hear me out.
Okay.
The lady that has raised him for the last 50 years dies in his lap.
Uh-huh.
And I guess the deputy is trying to console him, and he just takes that anger because she died for no reason and uses it.
You know what would have been a more believable scenario? And that whole thing is if you would just bash his fucking head in with the oxygen tank.
True.
And I wouldn't have, because dude, again, It's like a full just down and rip. Do you know how do you know how unbelievably difficult that has to be?
But she was
Especially
still
from that
in his
angle, because he
lap.
grabs his wrist, doesn't he? He like grabs his arm like that and then
And
snaps it.
like a wrist bends down, and then this has to break, and his arm has to be rigid enough for him to compensate for that. Dude, it's ridiculous.
I mean,
And
It was awesome.
a lot of these kills are fucking
I know.
ridiculous.
I'm just saying. But as far as like, if this is a direct sequel to the original, you're completely disregarding everything you've established in the original movie. In my opinion, like it doesn't make any sense. But that's never established in the first movie. Like it's never like shown at any point. They never illustrate that at all. He hits the.
Not see the way he took out the first guy he killed.
Yeah, but dude runs in and he hits him with a heavy ass mallet. If you hit anybody hard, I mean, he's already a big guy, so he's strong. You hit somebody with that mallet like that, you're gonna knock him the fuck out. Like, but I mean, like he just grabs the dude's arm and just bloop. I mean, I get it, right? I understand.
Maybe the deputy suffered from osteoporosis, and
Sure, why not? Sure. It was a cool kill.
We don't have to go into a full explanation of how this could be possible. It's just this movie is crazy.
It's just ridiculous.
I was like, that is awesome.
Speaking of that, why is nothing about his family mentioned?
I don't know. I have zero clue.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, this is a direct sequel. Never mention his brother, his dad. What happened to them? Yeah. What the fuck ever came of that? What about the truck driver? Is he still running down the road to this day? Where's he at? That's what I want to know.
I swear everyone says that. Where'd the truck driver go? Is he still running?
Like,
dude, but seriously, like,
why did he take off running in the first place?
That's one of my big things. They never mention his family. They never mention any of that stuff. And then the fact that
he's in an orphanage makes you think that something happened to them.
Okay. Something probably did, but there should be some mention.
True.
So So I have been listening. I've listened to a couple reviews on this movie from podcasters that I listen to on a daily basis, and the guys over at Epic Film Guys, they on their review, one of the gentlemen there, he had a theory about how after the events of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think Leatherface was supposed to be like 20 in that movie. Yeah. And after everything happened, of course, like the cops were going to come because Sally survived. She leaves. She probably reported it. The cops were going to come. So his family pretty much had to force him to go somewhere else. Because this isn't the same town, I believe, that he lived in the original movie.
Do you think they just pinned everything on him?
Probably. So he went to this orphanage because when they look at the picture, it's a bunch of kids, and then it's him. He's an adult.
Yeah, that's true.
So he lived with this woman who became his, a surrogate mother to him.
Yep.
She protected him, so that's why the chainsaw was plastered into the wall because she hid it from him.
Yep.
But he knew where it was the whole time. But she was the only thing that was kind of keeping him from killing because he hadn't done anything for 50 years. But once she died, he turned back into Leatherface. He snaps and goes back to his murdering ways. But like you were saying, he just seems like a guy. He's just a guy seeking revenge instead of the original where he was kind of. I think he killed the people in the original because he had to. He felt like he was protecting his home.
Yeah, exactly.
These fucking people, like, if you watch the original movie, you could be like, "Oh shit! Thank God Sally survived." These people broke into these people's houses, just wandered in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is Texas, people.
Yeah.
This is Texas.
I'm surprised.
But if you think about the original one about the chainsaw theory, he only killed one person with a chainsaw in that movie, right?
The worst character in that movie.
Yeah. Oh God. But anyway, he only killed everybody else. He bludgeoned them with fucking mallets or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I get it. And not to mention the chainsaw wouldn't work after being sealed up in a wall for 50 years. I'm just going to throw that out there.
It's the same chainsaw.
We're just going to
It just wouldn't work. It just...
shot so many.
Dude, that's another thing. Okay, that was another thing I was going to point out. So, like, later later in the movie when he's like, the stupid scene where he kills everybody on the bus, right? Cool kills on the bus, but there's some dumb shit in there, right? Mm-hmm. Cancel culture, all that stuff. But anyway, I believe there should have been another exit on this bus. I'm gonna die on that hill that there should have been another exit on that bus. But anyway,
you see how old these buses looked?
It was an old bus. Yeah, it was a very old bus.
Buses from the 60s.
Yeah, absolutely. But like he puts his arm through and she stabs him. I think Melody stabs him with the corkscrew thing, and he's like, "Oh, my arm!" But like later, like Sally's like just fucking with a knife right in his gut. He's like, "I take that shit.
Yeah,
I take that. I take like
he gets shot like 3 or 4 times too. Yeah,
yeah. He gets hit once in the shoulder and kind of in the back and kind of goes down a little bit. He kind of like goes forward and then gets like 2 loads of butt shots, center of mass. And I know Sally's gonna run double aught buck. She's a ranger. She ain't gonna use that pussy shit. She's gonna use double aught buck, center of mass. And you just, I'm good. I take it. Like, dude, come on. Anyway,
and this is where you were talking about before, how he feels like Michael Myers now, because he literally goes down. He's like at the end of. So this town is literally like if you go to like downtown Disney. It's just like a square. It's literally just like 20 buildings all together. It's It's
an old town. Everybody knows everybody. There are probably like 30 people at most that could live there.
Well, there's only 2 sheriffs in a 50-mile radius.
Well, I'm just saying,
police officers.
But Mrs. MC and Leatherface are the only 2 people that technically. Well, Richter probably lives there too.
It looks like his shop. At least he has a shop there. I don't know if he lives there.
But they're the only 2 residents of this square.
But so Sally shoots at him. He runs down an alley.
Yep.
On one side of the town. And then in a fucking flash, he's about 100 yards down the goddamn square. And then just bull rushes at Sally. This man is in his 70s. Listen, I know Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, they're in their 70s right now, and they probably still got some, they're still strong individuals.
Yep.
But this man moved so fast for his age and just took so much damage. There's just no way.
Yeah.
No way. You got to expand your disbelief, I guess. When it comes to horror movies like this, when it comes to the Halloween franchise, when it comes to, I mean, of course, with the Nightmare on Elm Street, that's a whole fucking different ballgame. But I feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre was like, especially when you watch the original, that is like, listen, that shit could happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more grounded.
Exactly. Where I felt that slight bit of supernatural shit with Leatherface on how nimble he was. And dude, I mean, listen, this guy was huge. The guy who played him.
Yeah.
And when him and Richter go at it, I'm like, yeah, Richter is way underclass for this.
Yeah, but Richter's looks like a pretty tall guy to begin with, even.
I mean, the whole fight between him and Leatherface were pretty good.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good fight. It's the first time you actually see someone go toe to toe, with Leatherface in that way.
Yeah,
most of the time it's just people running away from him with his chainsaw, but he didn't even have the chainsaw at that moment. And a lot of people were giving Melody shit because she didn't do anything when Richter's literally getting his head bashed in. It's like, what is she supposed to do?
Exactly.
Is she supposed to get on and be like, it's my turn, let's go? And you're like, what? My thought was, why aren't you getting the fuck out of there? While they're fighting, just go.
Apparently, Leatherface is also a professional axe tosser because he's really good at throwing shit at people.
He threw that hammer when it hit Melody. How was she getting up? That's like a small sledgehammer.
I thought she was done.
Yeah, it just reminded me of like Freddy versus Jason when Jason hits Kelly Rowland with his machete and she just hits the tree and just flops over.
Exactly. That
Melody gets hit with the hammer. She flies through the floor into the basement or the crawl space, and then it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
What's this girl? What?
You got some strong plot armor on.
Woo!
And it covers her chest area too.
Oh, she's got
had a couple broken bones.
She got tits of steel or something.
Clearly. You keep talking. There's something I was going to look up that made me think of something, and I was like, I forgot what it was.
I did like the kind of like reminiscent of a shark where he sticks a chainsaw through the floor and he's kind of just dragging it along the floor.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool shot because it looks like a shark's fin going, coming to get her. But then it goes through the pipe and I was like, okay. I get it through the wooden floor in a way, but he slices through that pipe like it's butter. Like,
yeah.
Poopy pipe.
Yeah.
Poopy pipe.
No, had to make that run.
I hated the
And it
connection.
didn't look like chocolate ice cream coming out of the pipe.
I hated the Sally's connection where they tried to do the whole like Halloween kills, like say my name.
Yeah.
And like he ignores her. I was like, what?
She could have just shot him.
And then somebody brought
Or-
up a valid point. So there's a scene later in the movie where she goes in there to like, Leatherface is there, and it's supposed to be like that whole like he doesn't give a shit about her. Like, he's following these other two girls.
He doesn't even know who she is.
No, why would he?
It's been 50 years.
It's been 50. You know how many other people he's probably killed before her and doesn't fucking give a shit about him? Exactly. But that's a dumb scene. I don't like how that played out. Like I said, I think they tried way too hard to make it like Halloween 2018.
Oh, 100%.
And way too hard. And then he just like she's in his fucking house with a gun and he just walks by her. But then because she's like, oh no, they're hunting them, or she's like they're hunting them, the other two girls. But then after like there's like a scrap earlier in the movie where God, what the fuck is it? It's where the two girls are left, and then instead of Leatherface going after them, he just goes back to his room.
Yep.
If he's hunting him that hard, why the fuck did he go to his room and not just go immediately after the girls?
He just wants to be left alone.
Well, he does, but if he's hunting them and he's ignoring, there's just big inconsistencies in the movie that really bother me.
At this point, though, nobody's bothering him because everybody's out of his house. He's already chased the one girl out.
What about all the people on the fucking bus he killed?
No, he wants them all dead because they're the reason why his mama's dead.
Yeah.
That's why he does it.
But he could hear them. They were making noise from his... He could hear them making noise from his...
Sweet-ass party. Their dope-ass party.
Yeah, from his room. He just wants to be left alone. Period. He doesn't want, that nobody has parties when...
Yeah, I understand.
It was just him and her.
Do you think that the reason Leatherface peels off his mama's face and wears it is because he then just is it kind of like a psycho situation, like a Norman Bates thing where he puts on her face and kind of becomes her? That's why he like sits down at her bureau there and he starts putting the lipstick on and the makeup and stuff.
Yes, I actually got another reference to that. I don't know if this is what they're referencing, but give me just a minute.
Again, that mask just not great. Did not like that mask. I understand what it was supposed to be, but it's like, ugh. It's bad.
Okay. So there's a character in the remake of the original Resident Evil, Lisa Trevor, and I'm not going to go into the whole lore, but it takes place before the original Resident Evil. Her dad built the mansion from the first Resident Evil. And she was just a little girl with her mom and her dad. Well, her and her mom got experimented on with the serum, the T virus. Well, she essentially grows up and becomes like this mutant thing, but she wears her mother's skin to be close to her mother. She literally wears her mother's remains on her, and maybe that's a thing. That's what I thought of. Like, I'll be close to mom if I wear her flesh.
It's very Silence of the Lambs of her. Very Buffalo Bill like.
Why not? But with no lotion. No lotion.
Everybody who's watching this would just gonna be like, "Where's the good things? Where are you gonna talk about good things in this movie?" I'm sorry. Once we start talking, the kills are great. As much as Dan is saying like Leatherface is not the same Leatherface from the original, which I agree. I enjoyed Leatherface the most out of pretty much everybody in this movie. I was rooting for him to kill everybody because they all sucked.
Yeah, I agree. I like the whole misunderstanding about them supposedly owning the title to the home and them not. I was totally like, okay, that's cool. Like that's a neat, like, oh, you essentially, how directly you were involved in the death of this woman because she has a heart attack and stuff from all the stress.
Yeah,
essentially causes Leatherface to do what he do. About you guys being the catalyst, I have no problem with that. I really don't have a big problem with Leela or whatever her name is, aside from being the school shooting angle. I don't, it doesn't bother me. It's whatever. But the only thing that bothered me is how suspiciously good she got with a weapon at the end of the movie. But that's beside the point, especially for someone that did not ever want to touch one. But
Right.
I had no problem with her. Melody's kind of come around toward the end of the movie didn't bother me. I just didn't care for her in general because of how she acted earlier in the movie.
Yep.
And she kind of like came around like, hey, I'm doing this for Leela, whatever.
Yep.
Like I said, the kills were fine. I didn't mind Richter, but he was an asshole like everybody else was in the movie. So
Yeah.
the mom was fine. She was just trying to the lady that owned the orphanage or whatever ran it. She was fine. She was just trying to make sure he didn't do his old things and didn't hurt people and was just in a situation she
she's
didn't
the
understand.
reason that he, no one had found him for all these years.
Absolutely.
She kept him quiet pretty much. Yeah.
Yep.
I
like stuff about the movie, but just as a whole package, it's not something I would go back and watch. I'd watch the original and the 2013 remake 20 times before I'd watch this movie again. Definitely. I just think they tried to make it there's too much stuff they tried to put it that was trying to make it too culturally relevant now that I think made the movie worse.
Right.
And you could at least given us a character we enjoyed. Because for being final girl characters, Melody, Sarah's her actress's name, Melody and Leela, technically Leela's the final girl, I don't really give a shit about them.
Yeah. Oh, I right there with you. Like, as much as I'm gonna defend Melody, and I don't think she's as bad as people are saying she was.
No, she's not.
She, when they just throw everything that happens out the window at the end when fucking Leatherface is, guess what? He doesn't die, and fucking rips her out and just cuts her head off and just holds it up, and then we get the Tesla. Of course, we're in a Tesla, so they have the autopilot on.
Why did they drive so slow getting the fuck out?
They turned the autopilot on.
I was like, just fucking drive the vehicle. Why would you be like, and everybody's fine, like, oh, thank God that's over, and make like some wisecracks and shit. Like, dude, everybody that you came here with is fucking dead.
Yeah, they literally are laughing as they're walking.
As physically fucking possible.
Yeah.
The ending sucked. I hated the ending.
So that that the filmmakers did that to try to recreate the ending to the original, because it's Leela looking on, watching Leatherface do whatever. She's screaming as she's hanging out the goddamn roof, and he cuts off Melody's head, holds it up, and then he does his swinging of his chainsaw over his head, like he kind of reminiscent to the ending of the original. So it's like, okay, I guess. I mean,
it made more sense in the original because he was mad because he didn't get her.
Yeah.
But he got one of them. He got her.
Yeah, it's just like Sally. It's just like, when Sally escapes in the original, that's the reason he does what he does. He's pissed that she got away, but it's more of like, you don't know all the other psychological bullshit that he had to go through too, because I can guarantee Leatherface was groomed to be the person that he is, because he
absolutely.
has, he has the mental disabilities. And his parent or his father or brother or whatever the fuck I don't remember the family, who was who.
It was his father and brother.
It was his father and brother. And Gramps, he was the best killer. He was the best.
Yeah.
He should have been back as a zombie. Fuck it, do it.
Hold it. No.
So if they were to make a sequel to this, what would you want to see from it?
I think this movie should have been a reboot. I don't think this should have been a sequel to the original. Take Sally's character out. If you took Sally's character out and the stuff at the beginning of the movie where they referenced the original Chainsaw Massacre, you could have done this entire movie with not even mention it, and nobody would have gave a shit.
Yeah.
Don't make it its own thing. If it was its own thing, I'd have a lot less to bitch about. Because they tried to tie it too much to the original and then not tie it too much to the original like they should have. I think they've already talked about it. The director already talked about it. Like when we watched this was number 4 on Netflix. I'm sure it was higher Friday it came out.
It was number 3 when I watched it, which I watched.
Yeah,
for either the day it came out or the Saturday it came out.
Yeah, see,
So
we watched it on Tuesday. So it was a couple days after. And apparently it's doing well enough. The director already talked about that they would like to do more if they did some. And if that's the thing, just ignore all the shit from the last one and just do it as like a lot of these horror sequels are where they have little to no connection to the movie that came before it.
Mhm.
It looks like he's going back to his old house or another home at the end credit scene. I don't know if you watch that.
Oh, there was an end
do
credit
that.
scene?
Yeah.
It's him walking up to look like similar to the old house in the
Fuck.
original movie.
I mean,
That's it. It's literally just him
yeah.
walking down the road and then like walking up to this house and then it
No,
cuts.
it says he's going back to his original house.
So he's going back to the original house. That's fine. Just start there and mention almost nothing from this movie. And make it less political.
Yes. Please.
Make it less socially relevant. And if you are going to do it, make it an actual important part of the film that connects to everything.
If you're going to
use that chunk and then
if you're going to make it political, make it part of make it crucial to the plot.
Yep.
Don't just sprinkle it in there just to have it in there. It just makes it, it's like they're pandering.
Yeah, exactly.
They're pandering to the situations that are happening in the world.
And you don't need that in everything.
No.
Because if you have a horror movie, horror slasher, whatever, we're here for the cool kills.
Yeah, if you give us a good reason for the characters to be there, some likable characters and some good kills in a relatively short runtime, hour and a half, what's wrong with that? It's a good movie. It's good times.
Character Catherine, the banker lady.
Oh, actually, I thought she was fucking terrible.
At least she tried to escape.
She watched.
Everybody else is like.
Yeah, she watched what's his stuff.
She watched Dante die, and then she gets on the bus and just sits down on the bus, and the guy in the bus driver's seat was just like, "Is everything cool?" She's like, "Yeah, everything's fine." Like she's not. She didn't even freak out when she saw Dante die. She was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna go back to the bus." She still sucked.
I would have been like, guys, we're fucking leaving. They can call us if they need us. But anyway,
I loved the fight between Richter and Leatherface.
I like that. I hate that he died, but I knew he was going to. He's like, dude, it's way too early in the movie for him to be going in here. This fucker's dead.
The impaling him with the
glass. The glass shoves his neck into the glass.
Oh.
And
like fucking, that has to hurt.
He has some rage issues, dude. He beat that fucker's head into pulp.
Oh my god.
I mean, the first swing was enough to.
Here's something interesting though. Here's something interesting I thought, and then of course that I don't have a qualm with how the fight went down because obviously when it first starts, he's got his Glock, he brings it up, and the Leatherface hits him in the hand, and he drops the weapon, right? And then they kind of like tussle, and then he does the whole reverse knee thing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised instead of charging into him against the glass, he didn't try to recover his weapon. I'm just saying that. I mean, I'm fine because he was going to die either way. I'm just saying I'm surprised that wasn't how they did the character because he's such a gun guy. Like that's the way he would have gone into it. But either way, the fight's fine. I'm not saying to change it. I liked how it played out. But if they do another one, to answer your question, if they do another one, like I said, just give us a reason for the characters to be there. It's a secluded Texas town. Just make it entertaining. Make it entertaining. Make the characters likable, at least some of them. And if it's a bad character, let them die fantastically. Because you got to have characters you hate in movies. And they'll do another one. I guarantee it in like 2 years we'll have another one. I'll watch definitely. It. I'm fine with watching it as long as they try to make it different than this one.
If I were to, what I think the filmmaker should have done is they should have focused on Sally. They should have, if they wanted to really make this like a Halloween 2018, you focus on Sally. The reason that, I mean, the point that she was pointless in this movie. Like they just added her in to kind of be like, oh my God, it's the original girl. And it just was stupid. She had the chainsaw put in her through her chest. He lifted her up and just continued to hit the trigger on the chainsaw. So it's just ripping her insides apart. And then he throws her into a pile of garbage. And then she's still able to talk and reload her shotgun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Do you see how it was kind of like a recreation of one of the I think it's like the first kill from Halloween Kills where he stabs the guy with the axe and picks him up. It's like very reminiscent to how Leatherface kills Sally. But yeah, I think I think killing her was dumb as well. I think if you're going to make a sequel, then I think they should have kept her alive so then she can face off against him at the original location where she escaped. She goes back. She has a fucking fight with him. And then it's like, yeah, that's what we want. We don't want all these just random useless characters that are just terrible. They're all fucking terrible.
I agree. Because like you said, like we talked about, like they literally could have stripped Sally's character out of it and then the shop scene at the beginning, and there would be almost no connection to the original movie whatsoever.
Yeah. I didn't like anything about the Sally situation. No. Nothing at all. They make her like this big badass and she literally did nothing.
And the first thing you see her do, like when she rolls up to Leatherface, is she fucking chokes up and starts yelling at him, like, remember me, like remember me.
And she names all the people who died from the original, and then he just kind of looks at her and then just walks by her, and she's just like, all like, he doesn't remember me. Like, why did we need this? This was so dumb. I do want to shout out John Larroquette, who was the original narrator.
Yes.
In the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was his first ever role in a movie. It wasn't really a role. He just did the voiceover for the opening crawl.
Yeah.
He did the opening crawl for this movie.
Good on him.
So
I didn't know that until we started, just before we started.
Did you guys hear the trademark camera flash sound that is very famous in Texas Chainsaw movies?
Yeah, when they open up the barbecue. It's when they open up the barbecue in that one scene.
I didn't hear it either, but I was reading about it.
Yeah, I heard it. I was like, oh, hey.
I was trying to jog my memory on it, but I don't remember.
Well, when we talk about the 2003 remake, you hear it a lot in that movie. So.
You do. And that movie's great. Right?
I love that noise.
It's a great sound.
It's very memorable.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, everybody. I thought we were, I feel like it was just us yelling about a lot of stuff, and you know what? Who gives a shit?
Me especially. God, I'm a fucking baby.
This movie
I
was.
I apologize if I offended anybody.
They'll be all right.
Listen, we don't like to go too political on this.
I hate politics
on the show. In politics, they can.
I hate it.
Suck an egg.
But it's
I just wanted to. But when it has to do with the movie.
Yeah.
That we're talking about, and then we'll get into some of it. We won't go into too much because then it can get dangerous. But, when we're saying what we're saying, it was kind of just in the vein of the film. It did not need to be in the film. Yeah. Like we said, like I said before, when you are doing a movie that is about those type of things, it makes sense to put them in the movie. But when it's a movie about a dude who's killing people with a fucking chainsaw, why do we need those things? Okay.
Exactly.
And please, for the love of God, horror movies, make likable characters, more likable characters. You got Laurie Strode, you got fucking Nancy Thompson, you got all these brilliant final girls are just likable horror characters. Ash Williams from fucking Evil Dead. Like these are amazing characters, likable characters.
Fuck, what's his name? Damn it. I cannot believe I blanked his name.
Are you talking about the Jason guy?
From 4, 5, and 6.
Tommy Jarvis.
Tommy Jarvis.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Tommy Jarvis. There's another great one.
Yeah. If they make another one, can they bring back what the hell's his name? The one who played young Tommy Jarvis?
Kid
Corey Tommy Feldman? Jarvis. Corey Feldman. Yeah. To bring him back to play Tommy Jarvis as a. Have you seen the shorts? There's
I would have watched
Friday
those.
Shorts that he comes back in.
Yeah, it's
not who we're just talking about, but the one who plays like adult Tommy Jarvis.
Yeah, in 6.
Yeah.
Because it was Don't Hike Alone and then Don't Hike Alone in the Snow, I think, or something like that. I want to see those. They look really good.
Because I think Dead Meat did kill counts on them.
They did.
Yeah.
That's where I.
Where the little laser goes.
But listen, everybody, you want to talk about, you want to be mad at this Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you should see some other ones because there's a lot of them. There's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. There's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which came out 12 years after the original.
Mm-hmm.
There is Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, which came out, I believe, in like 90 or 91. Then there was Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger.
Well, I don't think he jumps at a dragon with an axe in that movie.
He does go all right in it.
Yes, we have to watch it now.
Then you have the remake from 2003. Then you have the prequel to that remake that came out a few years later, which was like the beginning. Then there was Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Oh boy.
Then there was Leatherface, and now this one.
To have a 3D movie.
Yep.
Where does those fit in the continuity? Were those last ones all like their own?
So Leatherface, the one that came out before this was it was a origin story. It was how Leatherface, it's his origin story. Texas Chainsaw 3D was a original sequel to the original. So it was like, this is the true sequel to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, so another one. So they did it before it was cool.
Yeah, because in that one it shows the cops or the town coming to their house and confronting the family.
Oh, okay.
And it shows like how Leatherface survives and why the family is not around anymore. It's all wacky. The best one, in my opinion, other than the original for me, is the 2003 remake. I will defend it. It's a solid remake.
I remember enjoying that movie a lot. Like I said, I hadn't watched it in over a decade, so it's been a long time.
The scariest Leatherface, in my opinion.
Oh,
that
God,
motherfucker was terrifying.
Put some salt on that wound.
Yeah, literally just. We'll talk about that. I got the DVD back there, baby. I can't wait to whip that thing out someday.
I would buy. I'm sure it's available on Blu-ray somewhere. I'd buy that on Blu-ray. I remember.
100%. I would definitely. I remember buying the DVD, and it was a special edition. It came with fake crime scene photos.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
I don't know where they are. I opened it up and was like, "Ooh!" And they weren't there.
What do you mean there's not gum in here? Fuck this. It's like fucking baseball.
All
cards.
right, before we get way too off track here, that is our conclusion of our review / discussion / angry rants about 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Our next fresh cut is going to be Uncharted. We just got to wait for these fools to go watch it, and then we're gonna come back together, and we're gonna get together, and we're gonna talk about it just like this. Yep. Which this of course is gonna come out on a Monday, so you will be listening to this on a Monday, and then hopefully we can get the Uncharted one out the following Monday. But
or no, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, to be honest, that you're right. I mean, it could either we get it recorded and we get it out, or it doesn't get recorded and we have to figure something else out. But we are, this week, we are jumping into the Batman franchise, starting off with Batman 1989. We're going to be covering the late 80s, early 90s Batman films, then the Dark Knight trilogy, and then of course the Batman fresh cut will be squeezed in there since it'll be coming out very soon. It comes out in the next week or so.
Oh, Christ.
We will be having a guest as of right now. We do have a guest for our Batman Returns episode, which I might as well just announce it. It's going to be Justin from Epic Film Guys. He's going to be joining us to talk about Batman Returns in a few weeks. So I'm very excited because he's awesome. His show is awesome. I listen to his show every week, and it's going to be exciting to bring in somebody who's actually, good at this podcasting thing, which is just going to show, he's just going to show us up at our own show, and I can't wait for it.
We'll just shut up and he'll just talk the whole episode.
I'll be like, listen, you better have notes. You better fucking tell, because he's very passionate when it comes to the Batman, especially Batman Returns. I remember the anniversary. I think the anniversary is actually this year. It's actually the 30th anniversary of Batman Returns.
Oh, nice.
This came out in 92. Yeah. So very excited for that. So also, yeah, I don't know what also I was going to say. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and watching the show. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure if you are listening to us on Spotify, give us a 5 stars. If you're listening to us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, make sure to rate us 5 stars and leave us a review. And also, if you listen to us on Good Pods, which I've been using now as my primary podcast listening app, it's an awesome app where you can listen to any podcast that's out there. You can rate them and write reviews for individual episodes, which is fucking cool. So make sure if you listen to us on Good Pods, which we're there, make sure to rate and leave us a review on our episodes. All right. Because it's just, it puts us on like a cool chart. And when we click on our profile, that says we're like number something out of 100, like top podcasts in a certain category. And that makes me feel good. Okay.
We're like 40,000th out of 100.
I go on there every time we release an episode. I listen to our own episode. I rate it. I rate my own reviews as an alias, and it gets us up there. I don't do that at all.
It gets me up there. That's all right. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'll have to look into this. I'll have to look into this app. I remember you mentioned it last time, and I've been meaning to ask you about it, but I totally forgot. So I will check that out.
So yeah, a lot's going on very soon. I'm very excited to dive into the Batman franchise. And to anybody who's like, why aren't you doing the 1960 whatever Batman? Because I don't want to. Because I really don't want to watch that movie.
It's shit, I
just don't want to. To me, that's not Batman. I want to start out where I started out with Batman, and that is Batman 1989. All right, Michael Keaton is my first Batman. All right. Right. I'm probably going to be decked out. I'm probably going to be decked out in my Batman onesie with my Batman mask. I'm going all out for the Batman.
I just told Dan I can recreate my Batman makeup.
Hell yeah. Do you have a Batman onesie that has the bat nipples?
No, I do have the Batman onesie that has the symbol from the early Batman movies, like the 89 and Returns. So
no,
I got my Batman mask somewhere around here. Oh wait, I forgot to bring him on the show. Oh, my little baby Leatherface.
It's all right, man.
Sorry,
he was there the whole time. We didn't notice.
He was here.
He's here in spirit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, I am Brett Parker. This is Leatherface, and that's DNA Gaming. And this has been Dissect That Film Fresh Cuts.
Go watch Jurassic Park 3.
Bye-bye.
Bye.